Okay, so Matt, how does it feel to be back?
It feels great to be back here. I've got some great memories of this festival and this crowd. I remember playing here. We were playing like many years ago, maybe 12 years ago. We played here a few bands before Limp Bizkit, and that was a very different type of time in music. But I remember for us and for them, and the crowd was just one of the best crowds I've ever seen. Really great audience.
How did Muse evolve since then until now?
Yeah, we've been through many changes musically. We've every album we always try different things. So we've experimented with everything from hard rock to kind of electronic music to classical orchestral music, film music. I think we've definitely evolved a lot since then. Yeah.
How do you feel that Portuguese audience embraced you? Because you sell out every time you come here to play. And do you see any difference in the Portuguese crowd?
It's always been great here. It's one of the first sort of Southern European countries that we felt really had a strong connection with us, because the audience really stood out as being very passionate, and then shortly after that we experienced great crowds in Spain and also in Italy. But I remember Portugal seeming like the first kind of Southern European country that really embraced Muse. Yeah.
You have a particular style that's very reivindicative. You talk about some very important issues. Your last album was issued in 2015. The world is a bit different from that year. How do you evaluate the 2015 and 2018 playing here?
You mean from playing then to playing here now, or
no? Just how do you because you face the world with a very particular view.
Yeah, I mean I feel like we're entering the 80s again, like the beginning of the 80s, like this kind of movement to the kind of sort of strange politics and very sort of, I don't know really. I mean, everyone knows what's happening in America and everything. It's very strange. I live there, so I live in America, but I think it's possible that sometimes the sort of media can make it more scary than the reality. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of words, there's a lot of bluster and a lot of talk, but the reality maybe is maybe not so bad. I think yet, it could become bad. I don't know, but at the moment, I feel like it's mostly people just saying things and the media exaggerating things that kind of creates this feeling of hysteria and panic, and worry about the future. But that's always been there, really. I think people are kind of connecting with each other again in a more sort of in a more human way at a time when it seems like really the kind of establishment is really becoming a little bit difficult to understand. Yeah.
There's a term that has always been linked to Muse, resistance. Nowadays, it's a term that's implied in more social terms, in political terms, in America, for instance. Yeah. And how do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, I remember we had a song called Uprising in 2009, and I feel strange about this song because the song was kind of written from the idea that the people's popular feeling is being ignored. I did not expect this type of popular opinion, which is happening now, to be the one which kind of takes control. So it's quite a shock, really. And so I think when I was writing that song, I think I was hoping for more like a movement against sort of capitalism, corporate control, and in favour of environmental change. And I think, but instead, what has happened has been a move to a more sort of aggressive kind of, I don't know, anti-togetherness kind of type feeling, which is very strange. So I've learned that actually populism can go in very different routes, very bad routes. I was hoping for a different type of populism, basically. Yeah.
You arrived here in Portugal with the same album that you played in Pavilhão Atlântico, Drones. What can your fans expect for tonight?
So we're kind of in a transitional point between the last album, and we are right now in the middle of finishing the new album, which is going to come in November this year. And so we've already put 2 songs out which are going to be on that album. So we'll play them tonight, which will be Full Contagion, Dig Down. And instead of playing like a drones-heavy concert, we're going to play more like a mixture of songs from all the different albums tonight. So it's almost like a sort of greatest hits set, but with a couple of new songs. And it's kind of transitional, really. This is us really getting ready for the new tour, which is going to begin in 2019. And we're very excited for the new album. Next month we have a new single coming out called Something Human, and then we have maybe another song which is going to come out after that, and then the album will be November. So this is kind of like today is actually the last concert we have booked for this year, in terms of like a big concert. You know, after this concert is finished, we're going to focus in the next 2 weeks on completing the album, and then making plans for the next for the album release and tour, maybe some concerts later, or definitely next year. You know.
I understand that your chip is very different from when you're on tour and when you're on the studio. Your chip, your mindset.
Oh, yeah,
How does that change?
Well, actually, this album we're making has been a deliberate experiment to like mix the two mentalities together. You know, so we've made sure we do at least like 1 or 2 concerts every month for the last year, pretty much. You know, on average. You know, like last year we did like 30 concerts. This year we're doing about 7 or 8 concerts so far. And so it's been really nice to mix the album making process with the feeling of you have to actually still be very strong on stage, you know. And so I think a little bit of that energy has been mixed together, which is good, you know. So it's the first time we've really tried to merge touring in a more casual way, like not so intense, but with enough time to be in the studio. Yeah.
Okay,
Cool. Yeah, cool. Thanks for you.
Pleasure talking to you.
Cheers.